guys, how's everybody today? We are going to be talking about happily right fucking now again. I love talking about this subject because you can set goals. I do. I set goals. But if you are only concerned about like chasing the carrot, getting the carrot, the whole chase you didn't enjoy. But I'll tell you something, the whole chase is your life, right? Okay, so something weird is going on. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. So, it's not letting me like invite anybody, so I have no idea, but I think I'm live in the right place, so we're gonna just go ahead and do the video. All right. So, happily right fucking now, okay? I had a whole other video I was gonna do, but what I was struck with is one of the biggest things is boundaries. To be happy right now, boundaries. It's important. And what I mean by that is standing up for your own space, not doing things that don't feel good, like that. And I don't just mean like, oh, I worked out and it was hard. I mean like when you do stuff and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. This isn't good for me. But you maybe do it, right? Maybe a family member has asked you to do something and you're really like, this is not working for me, but you're doing it, right? So I'm talking about that kind of stuff. Really tuning into your intuitive no's when you're like, no, like your gut is telling you, no, seriously, stop. Listen, because that's where your happiness lies. And when you go ahead and do things that are outside of those intuitive no's, when you go ahead and do them, that's where like more misery comes from, more suffering. For me, we had someone close to us in our life, and they were like, oh my gosh, this amazing money-making thing, right? And it was like, it sounded kind of scammy and a little scary, but it sounded like amazing, right? You know, you could pay off all your debt. And I was like, oh goodness, I would love to pay off all my debt. And then I was like, wait. Because I believe that there's a value exchange in things. I believe that when I give value, then I'm paid for value. And there's no value exchange with this whole thing. And I was like, okay, I think this is no. I mean, obviously it sounds amazing. Who would want to have their house paid off, their cars paid off, everything? But it's a no. Like, I can't do it, even though they're so excited about it. And it kind of like caused some friction and everything. But it was just like, no, this is not right for us. There's no value exchange. It didn't feel good. And I was like, okay, let's do something different. And then about 2 weeks later, they were like, oh yeah, the money that did get paid off, now they're demanding payment in full because the money wasn't really there and it's totally wrecked our credit. And I was like, oh goodness. So it might not be that dire, but it might be literally somebody wants you to go out to lunch with them. But what's going to happen there is they're just going to dump all their crap on you so that by the time you leave, you're going to be filled up with all that stress and pain and upset. So maybe if like literally you get a call and your bud's like, hey, I'd like to go to lunch. And your gut is like, don't do it. Don't do it. Because here's the thing. I believe in supporting people, but I've also gone on lunches where all of a sudden I was like, I didn't sign up for this. And then it impacts your energy. It impacts how you feel. Then you have to go get yourself recentered, regrounded. You have to do a bunch of, like gratitude work, journaling, whatever it is, meditating to get yourself back in that good place. Now, that's not to say that I don't actually intentionally help people sometimes who are in pain. I do. But listen to your intuition. Listen to that little voice because it leads you the right way. Because the universe, and again, I got this from Nicole Eisler, the universe wants you to be happy and successful. So if you're not, you are literally not listening to the universe. You're not listening to your guides and you're not listening to your fucking intuition. So even when it's loved ones who want you to do something, if it really doesn't feel good, don't do it. It doesn't hurt you to learn how to say no. I will tell you, it's hard. So there's a situation where I've set a boundary and people in my life still keep testing that boundary. And they kind of get mad at me when I don't just cave and do what it is I've decided I wasn't going to do. And it's kind of this like low grade upset. Like I'm not showing up, like I'm not doing stuff. And it's frustrating, right? But the thing that I've found is if I were to violate the boundary I set and show up, a couple of different things could happen. It could get worse, like the whole situation could devolve. But even if it didn't, I would feel like a big old sellout. I would feel like I sold out my peace, my happily fucking right now, to just to appease somebody else. And that kind of stuff, man, when you are sitting there and you realize, I don't know if this is for you guys, but when I'm sitting there and I realized I've sold out, I get a burning all through my chest. And it's like this pressure. And so even though it has been hard for me to maintain this boundary because everybody wants me to stop, they just want me to just get along and go along, right? But fuck that. Because if I get along and go along, I'm not being happy and I'm not being true to me and I'm not protecting the people that are most important to me. So see, it's not an easy task, but it honestly contributes to my happily right fucking now. Even though there's parts of it that are hard, because I wish everybody could just get on board with like that, hey, good job for setting that boundary. I get it. Awesome. You know, with no upset on their side, but it happens. And then, so again, boundaries, they're good. Set them. Listen to your intuitive yeses and your intuitive nos. Hi, Judy. If it feels like a no to you, follow through on that. Because even if, you can always change it, like if it shifts for you. But if intuitively you feel like it's a no, listen, because that's where, you know, success, happiness, all that stuff lies, is by following your intuition and listening to the universe and the guides that are there for you. Then this is the last one here, is give selective fucks about your monkeys and your circus. So I always see that thing, you know, not my monkeys, not my circus. And it is good to not care so much what other people think. But this is the thing for me that is really in tune for me to be happy, is I do give a fuck about my family. I do care about my monkeys and my circus because I have created that and I worked hard to create that, right? Sorry, here we go. So as far as happily right fucking now, it does include boundaries. It includes saying no. It includes following your intuition. And go ahead and really give a fuck about the things that matter. Give a fuck about the stuff that is important to you. And like give it your all with a whole bunch of passion. Because the more you do that, the happier you will be day to day. Judy says, the burning in the heart chakra and throat chakra, not listening to your heart and not speaking your truth. Yes. Yes, I have been, man, you're sitting there and you're just like, oh. So if you guys can stand up and say your truth, even if it causes some maybe discomfort, overall, I am so much happier because I listen to what's important to me. And that is really important. So this series, the Happily Right Fucking Now series, is going to be all about anything that comes up for me. I actually had a whole different thing I was going to talk about today, but it came up for me. It was like, yes, boundaries, even when it's somebody you love, like even when it's your husband. My husband and I are in business together and we have to make business decisions together. And sometimes he wants to try things that I'm like, I think that's a bad idea. And we have to work it out. We have to work out a compromise. But holding true to me, it took me a while because I'd be like, okay, let's give that a try. It doesn't feel right. I don't really like this, but let's go ahead. Because he'd be so excited about it. But today we just barely sat down and we agreed, because we're partners, that we both not necessarily have to be excited about something, but we both have to be on the same page. And that was such a relief. It was like, literally, I feel my stomach just like relax. Because I was like, oh, thank goodness. So that's the kind of stuff. And see, and then I feel better day to day as I'm moving forward, as we're moving forward with our businesses. I feel more secure and more confident in the decisions that we're making and how we're moving forward. So that's what we're going to be talking about. All the things that like come to me around happily right fucking now, because let's enjoy every single day between here and whenever it is we move on to the next plane. Because if you just are waiting for some goal, even if you get there, because I promise you, I'm like one of those achievers. I get my goals, but I wasn't enjoying them. I wasn't celebrating them. And let alone that, I was making myself miserable working so hard for them. So I have been focusing on enjoying every day. Every single day I enjoy it. And I do. Maybe not every part of every day. I'm working on that, but every day. And so that's what this whole series is about. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Judy, for being here. And I will see you guys on Monday. Have an awesome weekend.